Let's see if I can't get this angled a little bit different, y'all. Okay, you guys, welcome in. Let me get my notification um up and going, y'all. That is just, you guys don't swipe. This is just so that people can know when I am going live, you guys. And today I am not selling anything. I'm not auctioning off anything on this show. Um, but I do have items in the bin, y'all. So if you want to take part in that, feel free. You guys, hi, I'm Jen with Four Hearts ABCs. This is a whatnot seller support show, you guys. We're going to um we're going to talk about things that affect us whatnot sellers. There's going to be tips and tricks and things that hopefully will be helpful for you guys. If you are a seller on here, feel free to drop your emoji down in the chat, and feel free to ask questions during this show. You guys, I'm very excited because today's seller support, we're going to have a co-host this time, and I'm really excited. She's going to be here in just about a minute, and we're going to talk to Holly from Little House Vintage, and she's going to talk to us about a bunch of different things. I have some questions I'm going to ask her. I like to do these seller support shows with a co-host like this because I think it's interesting to get a different perspective from other sellers. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, my hair is like, y'all. So I think it's going to be really fun to have Holly here sharing with us her insights. Hello, Chris. At home with Chris just dropped in. You guys, share this with any of your seller friends, and let them know that we're on. We're just waiting for Holly to get here. I'm going to split screen with her, and then we're going to kind of jump into some of the seller support topics. But you guys, how about we do a little fun activity while we wait for Holly, and tag someone that is your whatnot seller inspiration, like a seller that inspires you, someone that you like the way they do their shows or their positive attitude that they bring to the platform. They always bring killer items, something like that. Tag them. Yes, Unicorn Dust Designs, my friend Sammy. She definitely is inspirational, you guys. Give her a follow if you're not already. Okay, let's say tag someone that you know is a new seller on the platform, you guys. A new seller that could use a shout out and use to know that you're noticing them and their hard work joining this platform. Hello, how are you? Um, Thank you. Okay, great. That's amazing. So, there we go. Sharon Simply, and okay, I'm gonna butcher that person's name. Bratzo Creek Collective. Okay, so thank you guys for doing these tags. I love it. Okay, so let's tag a little bit more because I do know Holly is coming. She's doing a little show on her end, and then she's gonna raid in with some of her friends. So Holly is coming, but let's tag. I know that my bestie here on the platform, someone that I've met through Whatnot, and we chat all the time, you guys, on the platform, off the platform. Tag your Whatnot bestie on this Let's tag them. There we go. Charming appeal. There's our friend, you guys. Welcome in, you guys. I'm Jen with Four Hearts ABCs. And Holly, I'm going to invite you to co-host. And I just realized I probably there you are. Oh. Hello. Okay, we were just talking about tagging different people, you guys. That okay, first we were dropping our favorite emojis if we are a seller on the platform.
Yes.
Um, we were tagging someone on here that is an inspiration to
Oh, I love
you.
that.
Like someone that you love their vibe, you love the items they bring, like, that kind of a thing. We were tagging a new seller, someone
Oh,
that
yeah.
we know, is starting out and that kind of thing. And then we were also tagging our whatnot besties because I know that on this platform, it's so easy to meet some amazing people and have that interaction with them. So those are the kind of tags that we're inviting people to tag the people, and then just expect that if they don't join us off of that tag, they might message you later and say, "What did you tag me for?" Totally
Right.
acceptable. You know what I mean? So, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Jen with Four Hearts ABCs. I am outside of or in Southern Oregon, originally an Arizona girl, and I sell in the vintage home decor category, but also in the crafting category. Um,
Yes.
and I've
Can you
been
hear my
on
dog?
Whatnot as a seller for a little over a year. So that's that's about me. But I wanted to ask you, Holly, for those that don't know you, um, how long have you been on selling on this platform?
I have been selling. I had my first show. Can you hear my dog barking?
I can, but that's okay. I got one of those too, you know.
I got the door shut and she's mad because I won't let her in.
Oh
um,
no.
I have been selling on here since July 13th was my first show of 2025.
Wow.
So
Okay.
not
Yeah, yeah,
quite a
yeah.
year.
Right.
So,
Okay. So you're like at 8 months?
yeah.
About 8 months?
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay. And did you join the app before as a seller or as a buyer?
Yes,
Okay, so about
I
how
did.
long were you a buyer beforehand?
Oh, I think I want
Would
to
you
say
say
about a month.
a
And then
month?
I was
Okay,
like,
okay.
hello, Crook Willow Gallery. Nice to meet you. Welcome in.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, drop you guys. Feel free. Drop your emojis. Tag your friends. All the things. Invite everyone on in. Now, when you joined the app, did you join the app knowing you were gonna want to be a seller?
No, I actually
Okay.
had seen it on TikTok.
Hmm.
Hi, Simple Man.
Hello,
Hello,
everyone.
Ashley.
So you saw it on TikTok. You jumped in as a buyer, and then you were like, "Well, I totally can do this." And then you
Right.
jumped on about a month later as a seller. Well, that's awesome. I actually heard about it from some YouTube people that I had been watching, and so I joined and watched and was a buyer for about 3 months. I
Yeah.
wanted to see how it worked. I wanted to see how people shipped items, that kind of thing. And then
Yeah.
the new year hit, and I was like, okay, that's my go point right there. So, wonderful. I see a lot of your guys' comments. Welcome,
Yes, a lot of
welcome
newbies.
in. Um, we are actually going to be doing. I have some questions for Holly, and then we're going to open it up to answer questions for you guys. So, I think you guys, I appreciate you guys all being here for this. I do
Yeah.
this seller support I'm trying to do about every other Tuesday. And sometimes I have a co-host and sometimes I don't, Holly. So I'm so excited you're here. Um,
Thanks for having me.
okay, so I was looking at your profile and I kind of already knew
Yeah.
about I think I was your first train conductor. So
I think
I think
so.
that's when I invited you, I think you had said, this is my first train, and so I kind of already knew you were kind of new to
Yeah.
selling on Whatnot. And but I'm looking at your numbers, girl, and you already have 10,000 followers. You have sold almost 3,000 items. That's
Yeah.
amazing in this amount of time. So here's my question, and maybe this will answer a question for the others here.
Thank
Um,
you.
is how have you done that? How have you gotten so many followers and like had the success that you've had so far? Before you answer that question, though, I do want to put this out there. We are streaming on YouTube, you guys.
Oh,
We're
hey.
live on YouTube. And then if you miss the answers to any of the questions, you can go to Four Hearts ABCs and rewatch this down the road. So, or sell or share it out with, you know, a friend that could use some of these answers. So, okay, Holly.
Yeah.
So, how did you gain this success in this amount of time, would you say?
Well, I think the first thing that helped me was persistence.
Okay.
Um, Hi, Ari. That's my mom, and she has my great niece.
Oh,
So,
okay.
um, when I first started selling, I don't really feel like raid trains were as big as they were when or are now as when I first started selling, and I feel
Okay.
like they've really just exploded.
Right.
And so I put my name out there. I went into a lot of shows. I didn't
Okay.
ask necessarily to promote, but I just started talking to the chat and getting
Right.
them to know my name and going into some pretty big sellers and just
Right.
learning a lot, joining their community,
Right.
seller support
Hmm.
chats and getting my name out there. And when people, I think it was just a lot of networking, a lot
Right.
of time on the app when I wasn't
Right. Right.
teaching. A lot of just learning from other sellers and
Hmm.
just constantly putting my name out there, joining shows, asking sellers through private messages that I knew,
Right.
watching a lot of raid trains and you
Okay.
can see who hosts them.
Right.
So messaging those sellers, asking them to be on their list for raid trains. And now I
Right.
have my own list of
Right.
people that want on raid trains. And
Right.
so just going into shows and making yourself known, not necessarily going into shows and being like, can I promote? Can I promote? Can I
Right.
promote?
Right.
Because,
I think most sellers that want you to promote or allow you to promote, they pretty much put it out there. I do.
yeah,
Like, hey, drop your emoji if you're a seller
yeah,
here. Hey, whatever. And I think that's a good way for new sellers is to kind of wait for that prompt so that it
right.
doesn't come across as needy or
Yeah,
or rude, because I do know I have been in a couple of shows where someone will come in and they'll promote their show, and then there is a little bit of conflict in the chat, and I hate to see that, because I feel like most part, especially the vintage category,
yeah,
everybody is so friendly
yes,
and so wanting to help each other that yeah, I think that's a good way, is just to go in and just kind of get to know other people. And
yeah.
so okay, yeah, I
I
can see
never
that.
felt, I never felt any hostility. I never felt any like bad, nobody was ever mean or rude, or everybody's so kind.
Right.
And my sister just put in this in the chat, I just noticed that I was on the 1010 takedown pretty
Oh
early when it
yeah.
started, and I think that got my name out there big
Oh
time.
yeah.
And I'm
Right.
actually on the
Right.
1010, I've been invited back
Oh
to be on the
nice.
1010 takedown in March.
Oh, that's exciting.
So
That's exciting.
and I yeah,
Right.
and so that's there's usually like 3 to 400 people
Right.
in those shows.
Someone wants to
So I
know what
think
what is
that
the
was
10-10 countdown?
okay. So the two sellers that host it are Bella's Blaze and Potter Thrift to You. And you can always message them and ask to be on the 1010 takedown. And it's a competition. You have to dedicate 3 Sundays.
Okay.
They do it three, like I want to say the last 3 Sundays of the month.
Okay.
And so they'll start the competition with 30 sellers, and you have 10 minutes, 10-second sudden death to sell as much as you can. And then after the first show, they take the top 15 sellers and they move
Okay.
on to the next Sunday.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
after that Sunday, they cut it down to five
Oh wow. Okay.
sellers, and then the five sellers compete the third Sunday. And you don't win a prize or
It's
just
bragging
bragging rights,
rights, right?
and
Yeah.
right, and
Bragging
you get
rights.
so
Yeah.
many points per dollar sold, so
Okay.
many points for each new buyer,
Right.
and then I think so many points for items sold, number of
Okay.
items sold.
Okay.
And the first time I did the 10-10, I made it to the second round, but I didn't make it to the finale.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
which was really good because I
Hey,
think what it does is it gets your name out there.
right. 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 And people
So,
are
and it
watching.
gets you
I do
known.
know, like one of the bigger shows, one of the bigger competition trains, um, was it used to be Vintage Wars. And there's also
Yes.
been like storage wars, and I think those
Yes.
competition trains are a lot of fun, and people really um look forward to seeing them and seeing how
Yes.
they're ran, and what items are brought for it, and what people will actually get for it, because sometimes people will get a lot of money for an item that they might not have gotten that kind of money
Yeah.
for before, but because of it's a competition or the fast pace or the excitement of it. And then sometimes there's also items that go for dirt cheap because
Yes.
it's sudden
Yeah.
death. And so it's just kind of like that gamble, and just
It
watching
is
it
a
be
gamble.
entertaining. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
I'm hosting a monthly competition train, and it's all about upcycles. And
Yes.
they get 10 minutes
So,
to do one upcycled item, and the winner is the
oh,
person
I
who
love
gets the
that.
most for their item. And so that one's really fun, and it's just a different way, a different train. I feel like trains, they are all a little bit different.
Yes.
So there's no such thing as a bad train, because you get your name out there, like you were saying. um
Hang on just a second.
so
I got to get rid of the dog.
that's okay. So you guys, feel free to go up and bookmark my upcoming shows. Like I said, I do this seller support um,
Oh,
every other
gosh.
Tuesday. And the nice thing is, I just realized that I'm doing the opposite Tuesdays that House of Coop is doing their seller support.
Oh, perfect.
So I was like, well, isn't that nice? That's convenient. I didn't know that when I made this up. So okay, so then my question is, as far as going
No.
back to you being able to grow so quickly, I should say, did you do a lot of followers giveaways to
I
also help
usually
with that?
I I usually try to do, like, if I'm my regular shows are on Sundays at 5 o'clock Central Time, and
Okay.
so I usually try to do like in an hour. I usually try to do at least four, and then I always
Okay.
do a buyer's giveaway, which I know people are on the fence about buyer's giveaways because I guess there's a form some people can fill out
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah,
still
yeah.
get in
Right,
their
right,
buyer's giveaway.
right, right.
But I guess I don't. I mean, I do a
For
lot of
me
gift card
personally, that
giveaways.
doesn't bother me, because I
Yeah,
feel like if they've gone through all the trouble to fill out that form, good on them.
yeah.
I mean, so okay, so then if we're breaking it down for either for newer sellers or people who are just looking for a different way, what would you say? Do you prefer random pulls, or do you prefer the preloaded method? Now I want to know, on as a seller, what do you prefer? And as a buyer, what do you prefer? Because I know we're
Um,
all buyers on here.
yeah. Yeah, we're all supporting each other, right?
Right?
So I prefer to have my shop preloaded
Okay.
when I'm selling
Right.
because I feel like that gives people a chance to go in and check it out and look at the descriptions, put a
Right.
pre-bid in if they want to. As a seller, I'm either way.
Okay. Right.
I mean,
Right.
I think sometimes, or not as a seller, as a buyer.
As a buyer.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if random pulls work best for you, I know like the Duo Collective, they're friends of mine, and they just do random pulls, and then one time they did a preloaded show, or a few
Right.
times, and they said
Mm-hmm.
it didn't go as well as their random pulls. So they went
Right.
back to doing
Right.
random pulls and said they've had way more success with that. So
Right.
um I think just, and like you said, House of Coops probably the biggest seller in the vintage category, and
Right.
they do.
With random pulls.
So as a buyer, I don't care either way unless I'm looking for something particular. But when you go in
Right.
there, you can always put in the chat, hey, do you have blah blah blah.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I love it when
Exactly.
people do that on my
Right.
shows too. Even
Right.
if they don't see it in my shop, they might say, do you happen to have, or I might say, is there
Right.
anything particular you're looking for?
Well,
I'm
and
gonna put you outside.
that's interesting because I do the same thing. Um, I personally just found out that my maiden name is on a coffee tin, and a vintage coffee tin.
Oh,
And so I actually found that on Whatnot. It was a random show I just happened to pop into and saw it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was a thing." So now, whenever I see a tin show, I will go
no.
in and message the buyer or the seller, do you happen to have one of these? Because I
Right.
might not want to stay in the room because I'm not a tin collector. Oh, what a cute baby.
This
Um,
is one of them.
but I am a tin collector as far as that tin, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I personally find it much easier to, as a seller, to do the preloaded. And part of that is because then when you're ending your show, you don't have to keep track of who got what.
Yeah.
Versus if you did the
Yeah.
random pool, you have to sticker everything. You know what I mean? You have to put who, or you have to watch back and that kind of thing, right? Um, but as a
I
buyer,
have gotten myself
right?
very confused on random pulls.
Oh my gosh, I did that the other day with my sewn eggs, like the little quilted eggs.
Oh yes.
And I had to watch back the video like 3 times to get it right,
Yeah.
but you don't want to send the wrong thing. Um, but also as a buyer, now there are some people like House of Coop, people that you already know. They're well established. You already know them, and you know that you're going to want to watch their show because it's a good
Yeah.
show. So you don't mind going in and watching them at random pulls.
Yeah.
But if I don't know the seller, I'm always going in and just kind of looking at what kind of items they have,
Yeah.
bookmarking it, pre-bidding. So
Yes.
I personally really do like, even as a buyer, the preloaded method. So, but everybody has their own take. Like you said, it's a
Right.
matter of time and what works best.
Uh, no.
Those terrible phone calls that you get in the middle
Right.
of your thing. And
Or
I,
the
because of
dogs
my mom's
barking.
situation, right, well, because of my mom's situation, I never put my phone on do not disturb now.
Right.
So unfortunately, that's just part of the deal. But okay, so we talked a little bit about, and you had mentioned trains, and you also mentioned your shows on Sundays. Um, do you only do the Sunday show and then focus more on the trains, or do
Yes.
you try to balance that? Like, what do you think is the best?
I have consistently, which it's been kind of bad lately because my son plays travel basketball on the
Okay,
weekends. So this weekend is his last weekend. So I never know what time we're going to get done on Sundays, but
right,
always keep that regular show set, because I think that once you get established, people, it's kind of like your favorite TV show. You know, it's going
right,
to be on
right,
Sunday nights at 5 o'clock, and so
right.
um, consistency. And I
Okay,
think people like that on here. And I've actually learned that from other sellers
right,
too. So
right.
I don't do regular shows other than Sunday nights. Now in the
Okay,
summer it might be a little bit different since I'm not
right.
teaching, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
try to fill in a lot of time with raid trains when it
Okay,
works, when
right,
it works for me.
right. Well, because I find, like, even for me, I do have a couple sellers that I know they're going to be on a certain day at a certain
Yeah.
time. And so it is like my favorite TV show. I'm tuning in. And then I find myself with my own personal business, like I'm a mom of four,
Right.
and my youngest is in high school. She's a junior in high school, and she's into all the sports and stuff.
Yes.
And so it is a little hard for me to narrow down like when is a good consistent
Sure.
time and date for me to do it. It is an idea that I'd like to do, but so it's just interesting to know. I did see another train conductor make a comment on a show the other day that she feels like because she's focused more on trains and not so much on her own shows that she has lost some of her followers,
Yeah,
or
I
she
can.
doesn't see some of her followers showing up as often in those trains.
Yeah,
So
coming back.
I was wondering, so that's something that's kind of made me start thinking about, um, what people want to do. Yes, okay, I can
Oh yeah.
explain the train thing just really quick for you, my friend. A train is is a curated show. It's normally themed, and everybody has a set time, um and normally a set,
No,
set parameters, and you go from the
they're so bad.
first show, and then you go over and everybody raids over into the second show, and then that person puts on their show, and then everybody in that room raids into another show, and it's a train because it just keeps going until the caboose that ends the show. So that's
Yeah.
what a train essentially is just a curated, themed bunch of shows gathered together. You're welcome, my friend. I'm
Yes.
glad I could explain that to you. I'm glad I saw your comment because I'm not real great at following the comments when I'm actually trying to talk here. Um, Okay, so you had kind of made mention of it, and I see your shirt. I do know that you are a teacher. Your profile also states that. And so my question, because I live in a different kind of world than you do, um, is how do you balance the 9 to 5, the family life, and the whatnot? Like, how do you find that balance? What's your tips and tricks for that?
Well, I'm still kind of trying to find a little bit of balance because I think I overbook myself,
Mhm,
you know,
mhm.
and I try to stick with my, like I said, my Sunday night show, and I try to stick with trains that I think, yeah, I don't sleep.
Right.
I really don't sleep that often, but that's not because of whatnot. But Ziggy wants to be on camera.
That's all right. We love
Um
the pups.
and this one is just, she's a Pomeranian. She's very high strung. No. And they're sisters and they look nothing alike. But I try to get like not overbook myself. Um, set yourself like I don't want to do more than 3 shows a week. Or I
Okay.
don't
Okay.
want to do shows on Fridays because my kids have ball games. Or
Okay.
I don't want, no, no, you be good girl. So, but when I first started getting on trains and getting my name out there, I think I overdid it because I kind of burnt
Okay.
myself out on them. And so I have backed off a little and made sure that I have time to go sourcing for them too because I
Hmm.
don't want to spread myself so thin that I'm just doing the bare minimum. I want to bring good
Right.
stuff. And
Right.
I
Right.
live in a very small rural area in northwest Kansas. And to source anywhere, I have to drive at least 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
So if I can't get to a place where I can source or I don't feel like I already have the inventory for a raid train, I don't
Right.
do it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and so but finding the balance is probably one of the things that I need to work on the most because I will overbook myself because I don't want to disappoint anybody.
Right. Right.
And so I have kind of toned that, pulled myself back and thought, okay, I'm running myself ragged.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
you just find what balance works for you and really get into those trains that you can bring your best to and that you
Okay.
can really show off your best stuff and bring your best items to your buyers, so they want to
Right.
keep coming back.
Right. Well, and I
So
noticed on your shows you do have support from the family.
I
You
do.
have your husband, I think it is
Yes.
helping you like run your items and following the comments and stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm normally blessed if
Yeah.
it's if he's not working, my husband's normally my mod here. I also have my bestie here on Whatnot. She comes in and mods for me as well. And so it is nice to have that support from the family for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah. Um
Yeah. I'm very
oh
blessed. I'm very
right.
blessed.
So I know that I had started this co-hosting of this support show, and just as I was starting it, I noticed you had said something about a vision board you had done for the year, and that
I
like
did.
I instantly messaged you and I was like, "Hey, girl, we got to get together on this." So my questions that I thought maybe you should answer would be, what is a vision board? What's on yours, and how's that going for you for the year so far? Because we are a couple months in. I know what a vision board is,
Right.
but for
Yeah.
those that are here watching.
My niece Katie, she's my mod in many of my, like 99%, 99 to 100% of my shows.
Okay.
She's not a seller on here. So we got together, before the holidays, and
Okay.
she doesn't live here. She lives about 3.5 hours from me. So we went to visit and we went sourcing, and she said, "Hey, I want to do a 2026, we called it a bingo board."
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we just got like a piece, or like a painter's like canvas, just the flat ones, and made it into a, like a big bingo card. And we just
Nice.
put 2026 bingo card. And actually, I can go grab it really quick.
That would
And
be
if anybody
awesome.
wants to, okay,
Yeah,
I'll
we
be
would
right
love
back.
to see it. Okay, I'm kind of reading the comments, you guys, and I see that we have somebody whose son was helping with their first show. That's amazing. Um, and my friend Sissy, I see that you were not prepared. You didn't feel prepared for your first show and it was overwhelming. You got a couple small raids. Honey, everybody goes through that. Everybody goes through that. I had been a seasoned seller, and I got a huge raid one time in one of my shows, and it took me by surprise, and I wasn't at my best self during that because it had taken me by surprise. So um yeah, that's and then as far as speaking of themes for, I think that's talking about trains. I'm just reading back on some of the messages or some of the chat.
Sure.
Some of the themes can be easy. It could be like I'm getting ready to do a blue, white, and copper show. And then we also have a theme of different things like Rusty Crusty or, that kind of thing. Theming your shows are actually a really good way to know what you're bringing. Like if I'm doing a linen show, it doesn't have to be in a train. It could just be a linen show. But if I'm putting out there it's a linen show or it's a kitchen vintage kitchen show, the buyer knows what to expect when they come into my show, versus just saying, "Hey, it's my random finds for the week, vintage finds for the week," and I could have a mix of everything, and you never know what I'm going to have. So that's kind of the difference between those two, um, having things as a theme versus just having vintage and calling it that. So, all right, let's see that vision board, my friend.
Okay.
Oh, cute. Okay.
So it's just like one of those canvas like
Right.
things
Okay.
you get at Hobby Lobby, and some
Right.
Sharpies. And
That's fun.
so I just tried to pick, like, I didn't want to make them all super hard, but
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
just did kind of a hodgepodge of things that I wanted to see for myself. But like, one of them was like, I went from, geez, um hit 5,000 followers on TikTok. Um
Okay. Okay.
pay off credit card. I went from big time, finished the siding on our house. Just
Hey.
like I went all the way from like big things to even small things like try a new coffee shop or
Okay.
bake something new. Spend more time with my Bible. Hit my goal
Okay.
weights.
Right.
One of them I wanted get a facial.
Okay.
So make homemade noodles, organize and declutter, meal plan, go to bed earlier,
Right.
get a new dining room table, which I did. so,
Right.
just all sorts of different things and you make it just that pertains just to you. So, I did get a new dining room table, and I'm on my way to hit 5K sales on Whatnot. And I wanted to do, since I was so busy with Whatnot and sports and teaching, wanted to implement a family date night once a month.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
So
So things
and
that
one
are
of them I want to
personal,
do,
things that are business, kind of all
yeah,
mixed
just
together, you know?
yeah.
Right.
And I have it sitting right on my chest of drawers. So when I get ready in the morning, I see it every morning.
Right.
And
Okay.
so, but you could even frame it and hang it up or, anything like
Hmm.
that. So my son
Hmm.
is going to be a senior next year, and I'm a big scrapbooker. And I need to like finish his scrapbook because I want to have it at his graduation party
Right. Right.
and just,
Girl, we have a lot
personalize
in
it.
common. My daughter's going to be a senior next year, and she's in a lot of sports, and I too am a scrapbooker. So I totally
Yes.
get that.
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of vision boards where people they take out magazine pictures and they
Mm-hmm.
just have them up. It's they print out things, they draw things like you did. They just have words that are,
Yeah.
um and it's basically the idea of you put your goals out there in a visual way that you can see them on the daily and remind yourself of what you're working towards and things that you can check off and feel accomplished. You don't want to put
Yeah.
something in there like I want to go to the moon because that's not obtainable, right? For most of us, if not
Right.
all of us. But putting things out there, and I love that. Not very many people talk about the vision boards, and so
Yeah.
I just love that. I love seeing your version of it versus ones I've seen in the past. So I did see a question here real fast, and I just wanted to kind of answer that. It just wants us to know: do you recommend rating into new sellers with a small audience? Do you think it helps them, or do you think it gives them anxiety? I think it's as long as you kind of let people know when you're rating, like if you have big numbers in your room and you're like, hey, you guys, we're going to go raid into this smaller seller. They don't have many people in their room. Let's give them some grace. Let's give them some
Yeah.
um encouragement, because like I said, I was a seasoned seller and I got a large raid um in a linen show of all shows. And I did not have anything pre-listed. It was all random pulls because like linens, it's really hard to pre-list linens, right? And you have to show linens in a way that you're showing off all the imperfections because you don't want someone to bid on something that is not
Right.
what they're expecting, right? And the large raid came in and they were very much sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it. And it wasn't that kind of show for me. And it threw me off as
Yeah.
a seasoned seller. So I think if you're going to raid, just do it in a way that is just kind of let people know why you're going into that seller,
Yeah.
how it's going to how what you would want them to do. I think that's helpful. Um, and I think rating, there's two different methods, okay? If you are rating and you are a bigger seller, an established seller, absolutely go raid into those newer sellers with the smaller rooms because they need encouragement. They need more eyes on them, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Um, if you are a small seller, though, I actually think you should do the opposite. I
Yeah.
think you should raid into a larger, more established room because every time you raid, no matter who you're raiding into, you are getting acknowledgement, you're getting a shout out, you're getting eyes
Yep.
on you. And if you're a smaller seller, you want more eyes on you. You want more people to hear your name. So I would encourage the smaller sellers to go into the bigger rooms, for sure. So,
Yeah,
um,
I agree.
yeah, yeah.
Totally
And
agree.
so, but it can be overwhelming. And something else that I just want to note real fast is when you are rating, and we might need to start like letting our audience know this as we're getting ready to raid, that if you do not stay, if anybody goes into a show and does not stay for at least 5 minutes, it
Yeah.
hurts the seller in the algorithm. So you
Yep.
might be trying to help them by raiding into them, but then if half your audience drops off within that first minute, then the
Yeah.
algorithm basically says, oh, this seller's not really doing any good. We're not going to push them up in the algorithm. And it actually hurts them. So,
Yeah.
maybe just say, hey, stay for 5 minutes, check out their bin, book one
Yeah.
of their
That's what
shows,
I do. I say,
that kind of
yeah,
thing.
I say at least stay for 5 minutes because it helps with the algorithm. I
Right.
say that to my audience before we raid. And but I agree also with you as you're a smaller seller rating into those bigger sellers because they will acknowledge you and you will get a lot of follows.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it will
Right.
get your name. It will
Right.
get people knowing at least who you are.
Right. Right.
And
Because
so,
I always find that followers don't equal sales.
no.
Um, so yes, followers are great and that's amazing. Um, but they don't equal sales. But the more your name
Right.
gets out there, the more you're recognized, um, the better you're going to be in the long run, I think.
Yeah.
So
And I've
yeah,
had shows where I've had 100 people in there and nothing's selling. I've had
right.
shows where I've had 10 people in there and I'm selling everything.
Right, right. Oh my gosh, I was in a
So,
raid train the other day, and had it not been for the one buyer in there, I probably would not have sold anything that day. But that one
yeah.
buyer was loving all my items, and I think she bought like 8 items. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So the number at the top of the viewers isn't necessarily what is bringing the people in, um, and the money in. It's just you have to find that right item for the right buyer at the right time.
Right.
You know, Sissy, I see that you said you didn't know how to raid
Oh, yeah.
um, earlier today. Okay, when you go to end your show, it will ask you a bunch of different questions, and one of them is raid. And so just click on that. It'll show you a list of people that it recommends that you raid into. I don't know how it picks those people.
I don't either.
Um, I feel like I try to at least stay in the same category.
Yes.
Um, because like I did a craft with me show today and I rated into somebody selling craft supplies because at least it's somewhat close to what the people were there to watch me for. If I was in the vintage category selling vintage, I would try to find another vintage. If I was selling my
Yeah.
antique books, I would try to go into another book dealer, things like that. So I try to stay in that realm, but that's how you do it. You just click on that, and then you just find the raid. You can type in a person's name, like if
Right.
you know they're on. You can type their name into the search thing and it'll bring them up if they are live. And then you can raid that way. So I hope that answers your question, Sissy. Um, okay, so um, since we're talking and we don't know if people are brand new, if they've been here a while, but we all have an answer in a question for this one. If you were to list 3 things you wish you knew before you started selling that you have learned over time,
Hmm. 3 things I wish I would have known before I started selling. Is that
before
what
you
you said?
started selling. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um, that shipping is not as scary as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
That yeah, I that's the thing I was most afraid of, and um going and messaging sellers that I had met through the app that had been doing it, they were so sweet. Okay, do this, then do this, then
Right.
do this,
Mhm, mhm.
So the shipping, I was totally afraid of it, and it's not even as bad as I shouldn't have been so afraid, but I
Right,
was a fear of the unknown,
right.
So
You don't know until
another
you
thing
try,
I wish
right?
I would have known, just rip the band-aid
Right,
off.
right.
Another thing I think I wish I would have known how much room it was going to take up in my house.
True story. True story.
Yeah. And gosh, I wish I would have kind of understood maybe the tax side of it.
Okay. Okay.
I did not look into,
Mhm,
I didn't even think
mhm.
about it. I was like,
Right,
we're gonna do
right,
the dang thing.
right,
And
right.
so maybe do a little bit of homework on some of those things. And I'm still trying to perfect my setup. I don't know if I'll
Mhm.
ever get it
Right,
perfected because I keep finding, okay, I need to move this shelf over here and I need more room over here. And I
right,
need,
right.
I need
Mhm,
packing
mhm.
room over here. And
Right,
so I didn't think that process out quite like I should have, but I don't think you know how to think about it until you're in
right,
it.
right, right. Exactly. Well, and the nice
Because
thing is you can evolve. You can change things as
yes,
you go. My first
yes,
shows, I was actually not in the camera view at all. And people were just looking at a little tiny shelf because we were working on this wall behind me. I knew this is what I wanted to do, but it wasn't ready yet. And so
yeah,
things can evolve. You don't have to, I mean, you got a phone, you can sell. You know what I mean? Um,
yeah, exactly.
as far as the tax thing is concerned, and I do want to put this out there because we're not tax experts, y'all. We sell items, but um, I actually have been in business for almost 20 years, so in different various ways. So I already know the tax situation and all that. I was expecting a 1099 from Whatnot, and it did not come.
Hmm.
And in my household, we're all kind of crazy here. And sometimes mail gets put here, there, and everywhere, which normally isn't a big deal until tax season when I'm like, where'd you put
Right.
the mail, people? Anyways, so I reached out to another Whatnot seller and I said, did you get a 1099? And she answered back and said, no. And then I started like researching and trying to figure it out. And Whatnot did not send out 1099s, y'all, unless you hit a certain threshold, and
Yep.
then they sent them out.
Yep.
So if you do need to write off your Whatnot expenditures, which if you're really like working the business, you would have bought enough that you need to write it off. Okay, so
Right.
um tax
Hello, old
people, what
dusty
they
shed.
really, huh,
Oh, I
what
was
did you
saying.
say?
They said evening, ladies.
Oh.
I
um
said, well, hello, the old rusty shed.
yes, absolutely. So if you go into your seller back office
Hub.
area, there is like a place for financial documents.
Hmm.
And I went in and I printed out, like, you can get a PDF for every month, and then you can get it for the whole year. So just type in your dates that you want, and you should be able to print out that information. It gives you your sales, your fees, that kind of stuff. So then that's the kind of stuff your tax person's going to want to know.
Yeah.
So that's how you do it when you didn't get a 1099. Um,
It's pretty
maybe I'll
user
luck
friendly.
out and I will have hit that threshold and eventually get a 1099 from them. But as of right now, I did not. So
Right.
that's a tax thing. As far as space, I wasn't in the same boat as you, Holly, because like I said, I've been doing this. Maybe not necessarily vintage, but I've been in the craft industry. I've been in upcycling and that kind of stuff for many, many years. So I have a storage unit on my property that is chock full of stuff. So I already knew how much space it was going to take. But it doesn't mean I stop shopping, though. I
Right,
mean,
right.
to my husband's, gritted teeth, I'm just like, no, you need more. So
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah, that is something interesting. I'm only going to give one thing I wish I would have known before I started, because I've done this part before on another show, but my biggest mistake on my very first show is was shipping. And it was, I put in the weight of the item. I did not
Hmm.
calculate and realize I had to put in the weight of the item plus the box, plus the bubble wrap, plus the paper, plus the tape. I mean, every little tiny bit counts. And so you kind
Yeah.
of have to um, adjust for that. And another thing to think about is, but I hate this part because um, I do know that it does affect the price that the buyer pays. But if the buyer is only going to buy one item, you have to have that box in every single, but
Yeah.
you may have a buyer that bought 8 items and you can put them all in one box, and unfortunately you've charged them weight for 8 boxes. But if you are a newer seller, you can't take the hit by backing
Right,
off of those shipping weights, I guess you should say. So that's the one thing I wish I would have known. My
right,
first show, I actually lost money because I could only make so many adjustments, and I did not calculate my weight right at all.
right.
So, okay, we're not the only ones.
Yeah.
So
I think they allow you like
five a
five
week, I think, is what
adjustments
it is. Yeah,
a week.
yeah.
I
But I
think,
think
yeah.
like my
Oh, I'm
first
max.
show, I think I sold. I think it was a vintage kitchen show of all things, and I think I sold enough. I want to say like 10 packages or something, and I ended up eating like $80. Like,
Yes.
it was like, oh shoot, but it's all learning. It's a
Yeah.
learning curve, and part of that. And I did see a comment about it. Part of that was the giveaways. And my
Hmm.
friend that was asking about the giveaways, private message me. I will see if I can help you. Um, and you guys, as far as shipping is very technical, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and there are a lot of YouTube videos out there of whatnot bigger sellers who do that
Hmm.
kind of stuff. They ship a lot of different items. They break it down really good for you. So I would
Yeah.
definitely say go and Google it. You know what I mean?
It's
And
very
do a
helpful.
do a YouTube search on it, and
Yeah.
just watch some videos, and hopefully you can get the answers you're looking for. A lot of it has to do with the adjustments. A lot of it has to do with calculating it right, and also um, setting your parameters right in the back office for what you're going to be shipping. With the giveaway, that's most likely what the problem is that
Yeah.
the stuff is not toggled in right. So, okay, Holly. So, what part of being a seller do you like the best?
I like interacting with the chat.
Okay.
And sometimes I find myself doing it on raid trains when you have just like that 30-minute window. And then I have all these pre bids, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we only have 5 minutes, blah, blah, blah. Because I like
Hmm.
talking to people and I like meeting new
Right.
people. And I also like bringing people good prices.
Right. Right.
I try to source good prices. I try to put my items in at good prices. And if
Hmm.
you're a
Hmm.
seller on here, and I've learned this the hard way, don't 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 set yourself up to like sell something for less than what you
Right.
paid for
Right.
it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because I've done it. I've had dollar shows where I just thought, oh, I need to
Hmm.
get all this stuff out of here.
Hmm.
I lost money. It
Right.
was not
Right.
I've had some of the things, yes, sell for what you want, or sell for what you can, at least, because we're all trying to make money.
Right.
This is the
Right.
business.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
so I mean, I
Well, like
have
last night I did a Madness Monday sale. And it's basically my idea is I had brick and mortar and I closed that brick and mortar a couple years ago. All that stuff has been sitting out in my storage unit
Mm-hmm.
for the last 2 years. I've not even looked at it. I've not, nothing. So in my mind, instead of going and donating it, I
Mm-hmm.
want to just bring it to the whatnot people at a really good price. So
Yeah.
I start everything at $3. Hey, honey, I start everything at $3. I don't even sell my minis on my mini shows for three
Yeah.
dollars. You know what I mean? So I start everything at $3, no matter what it is. It's going up for $3. Um, so there is the idea of setting your price at a way that you're just wanting to move it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But at the same time, don't do those dollar starts, y'all, because you have to figure every starting bid may be all you get. And
And
if you're
whatnot
doing
take.
it at $1, you're getting the fees taken out. You're
Yeah.
getting your fees taken out. You're getting your boxes taken out. I mean, so you are losing money. I
Yes.
mean, at $1, you're losing money. And there is the idea that you want to just do $1 because you want to bring a good deal or you want to get rid of it
Right.
and that kind of thing. But I would say, okay, if the item's only worth $1, see if you can give them two items for $2
Yeah.
and at least cut some of those costs down, so that you're not losing money. I
Right.
also say don't put an item up for less than you would be happy getting. um and I mean, of course, we all want like a million swipes, right? And we want our item just to
Right.
go like gangbusters, and you're just so excited because all these people love your item. Everybody wants that, but reality is
Sure.
we probably are only going to get what we're putting it in for a start bid or a little bit above. um
Right.
and so try to set your standards at, it's going to be what I can feel good about bringing. And
Yeah.
also, this is a huge thing, and I've had to say it many times because I've heard horror stories. Guys, as sellers, do not put down people for only paying what you started your item for. No buyer
Yeah.
wants to feel bad about getting a good deal. They want to be excited because, oh my gosh, look at this, I just got this really good deal on this. But if they're being berated, they're not going to come back and see you again. And it
Right. I've
makes the
heard
whole
in
platform
shows.
look bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been in shows where they are like, "Oh my gosh, you got the steal of a deal or steal of the day." And yeah, and I've bought stuff too, and I thought, oh, now I kind of feel like I gypped that person off, by buying it
Right.
for $1 or $2.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't say that in my shows.
Yeah. I mean, saying if that's a good grab, or wow, you got
Right.
that at a really
That's
good
different.
price, that's awesome, or something like that. Versus, I've heard horror stories of, I can't believe you just took that for this much money. I
Oh,
just
yeah.
lost money. And people saying stuff like that. And it's like, don't do that. Don't do
Yeah.
that. Another one is, don't say, I can't believe nobody wants this on an item.
Right.
And it's like, honey, that the right buyer just wasn't in the room right now.
Yeah.
Put it up again. It's okay.
I've had
So I think
things.
keeping positive on your
Yes.
shows. Everybody wants positivity. We're here to be having fun. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I'm
So,
always like,
um,
kindness goes way further and it's free than making somebody feel bad about themselves because
right,
I even
right,
preach to my third graders like there's enough hate in the world. We don't need any
right,
more.
right.
So yeah, I like it when you can go into a show and you can feel accepted and you can just feel the kindness and the love and the support. And I've been in shows where you can feel attention too.
Screen,
And
is she
so
frozen? Oh, there you are, honey. Sorry, you were frozen on my screen for a
oh,
second, and I was like,
sorry.
oh, okay, that's
I
all
just want people to come in and have a good time and not feel tension, and
right,
everybody's lifting each other up and being kind and supporting. If you come into one of my shows, there is no pressure to buy.
right, right. Hey,
Zero
I'm happy to have
pressure
people
to
in
buy.
there. Yeah. Comment in
Yes.
the chat and let
Come
me know
in.
where you're watching from, and
Yeah.
oh, I really
Yeah.
like that item because it's that my favorite color. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even care.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, though, I laugh because I have ADHD, and I know a lot of sellers on here have
Yeah.
claimed, the same thing, right? Um, and I'm a stay-at-home mom, so a lot of times I feel like interaction, that's
Mhm.
that's my adult time. That's my, because I'm not at a 9 to 5, and I don't interact with other people, very often. And so people come to have a good time and
Yeah.
to
It's like
have a
your
good
social
interaction.
life.
And yeah, exactly, exactly. So, but I would agree with you. I think my best, the thing I love best about being a seller has to be the people I've already met. I've only been on the platform for a little
Yeah.
over a year, and I have met some of the best,
Amazing.
kind-hearted, amazing people.
Amazing.
That I mean, people I would be like, hey, I'm gonna catch a flight and I'm gonna come stay with you for the weekend. Let's go shopping.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean? And I think that that's the kind of, like, you find your people here. You know what I mean? No matter what
Yes.
category you're selling in. So
Yeah.
I would agree. I think that's the best part of it. So what would you say is the worst part of being a seller? If
I
you had
think
to
the
pick a bad,
Right. I think the hardest part for me is you have, like you said, you have those shows that you do really well. And I've
Mhm.
had shows where I got off and I rated into somebody and I got off my show and I just burst into tears.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
think so the hardest part for me is knowing that there's going to be ups, there's going to
Right.
be downs,
Right.
and to
Right.
just keep grinding
Right.
because
Right.
it's not going to get any better if you give up.
Right. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so I think just knowing that there's going to be peaks, there's going to be valleys, and to know that,
Right.
and then you get to thinking like, I'm the only one who's never sold blah, 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 like, or that was
Right.
a terrible show. I only sold 10 items and I had 40 listed. That's
Right.
going to happen, and to give yourself
Mhm.
some grace.
Right.
And
Right.
I've had things where I've bought them and I thought, oh my gosh, I can't wait to sell this, it's going to be amazing, and nobody wants it. And you've been
Mhm.
like, hey, you second guess yourself, maybe I'm
Right.
not fit for
Right.
this, maybe I don't have the eye for this. But then I've put it in another show and it was the first thing to go. So just give
Right.
yourself
Right.
some grace. And don't I am the hardest part for me is not being so hard on myself.
Okay. Okay. I want
I
to
am
say
my own
probably mine
worst critic.
is it kind of falls in line with yours, my friend. It would be um don't take everything so personal.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very hard to look at something and say, well, I thought we were friends, but they're having a train and I wasn't invited.
Yeah.
Or why, you know why when I come into their show they didn't shout my name out, but they shouted everybody else's name out. And
Right.
like, as I think, as like humans, we have a tendency to think that we're less than others, I
Yeah.
guess, and it's not necessarily envy. It's just more like self-reflection and kind of like, well, what does that mean, kind of a
Right.
thing. And I think that's the hardest thing, is you want to be successful, you want to be liked, you want people
Hmm.
to recognize who you are, recognize your name. I could very easily, Holly, look at you and say, you've only been on here for a little over 6 months, and you have all this going on for you, and I've been here for a year, and what's wrong with
Yeah.
me? I think it needs to not be like that. I think it needs to be more um good for you, dude. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Give me some secrets. Good on you for being, this much, and, whatever. And finding the situation and not second guessing ourselves, but just maybe
Hmm.
finding, like, how can I tweak things?
Yeah.
And because everybody's area is different. Like today I did a craft with me, and I actually was painting items copper for an upcoming train, because in my area I cannot find copper to save my life.
Really.
Um and I assigned, I agreed to do this train, and but I can't find copper. And so I made copper items, you know what I mean? everybody has different things in their area that they can bring and others can't. So don't be hard on yourself
Mhm.
for what you can source and can't
Right.
source, or who has what, or how many followings, or whatever. If
Yeah.
you do start to get down on yourself, maybe reach out to those people and say, what are you doing? How are you doing this? Because
Right.
I think most of us sellers are willing to share our secrets or our trips. Oh my gosh, the words, right? Tips and tricks,
You're right.
because as I like to say, all boats rise. You know, as the platform's going to get
True.
bigger, as our more buyers come in and all that, we're going to increase. Everybody's going to increase across the
Hmm.
board. So there really isn't, I don't think, a lot of competitiveness. But I think the worst part for me would probably be that it is hard not to self reflect
Yeah.
negatively,
Yeah.
the same as everybody else. So that would be the
Yeah.
worst for me too.
And somebody
Okay, Holly.
said,
So before we do,
com-
oh, go ahead.
somebody said comparison steals your joy.
It
And
does
that is
absolutely.
something that I need to remember.
Right.
Absolutely. Thank you for
Right.
putting
And
that in
that
the
would
chat
be something that
because
would be amazing for a vision board. Positive
absolutely.
affirmation. And a
Yeah.
vision board, you guys, it can be your bathroom mirror. You can take lipstick and
Yep.
write positive
Sticky notes.
affirmations or whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's just a visual place for you to remember daily what you're working towards, things like that. So, before we do the questions and answers part, and I would like everybody to start thinking like, what would you like to ask me and Holly? I do want Holly. I want you to be able to tell us like what's coming up next for you. What shows are you really excited about? What trains are you doing? That kind of stuff. So,
Okay. I'm actually on a train tonight at 6:30.
oh,
And so it's all set up and ready to go. I'm like that fly by the seat of my pants kind of person, but I am really excited about I have a lot of raid trains coming up that
mhm.
are very themed. I have my 10K, I called it my 10K Friends
Oh,
show.
fun. Yeah.
That's going to be Sunday, March 8th. And I'm
Hmm.
doing some pretty amazing giveaways and bringing some pretty, as everybody calls them, bangers,
Sweet.
and I'm in another raid train that I'm pretty excited about that it's called Bloomin' Barn.
Okay.
And so it's going to be, I've got spring fever real bad. And so lots of
Mhm.
florals, crewels, some rusty crusty like you would have in the barn,
Right.
some amazing sellers on that raid train that
Oh,
I
good. Yeah. Yeah.
really looked up to. And so that one I'm really excited about. I'm excited about all of them. And I'm really excited about my 10,000 friends show because I
Oh,
want to give
yeah.
back.
Yeah, that's
Because
a
I
big
couldn't have done,
milestone.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I
couldn't have
did
done
when
it
I hit
without
a
y'all.
thousand. I think I did a giveaway show at 1,000. Um, no, it wasn't 1,000 followers. It was when I hit my 1,000 sales, and I was able to
Sales.
hit that milestone because that was a big deal.
Oh,
That's a big
it's
deal. Um,
huge.
and I think as far as I want to share, um, I do my
Simple
own
man.
shows. I do trains. I conduct trains. I take part in trains, that kind of thing. But I'm really excited about my monthly trains that I have going on right now, which is
Yes.
you've been a part of the one on the 4th that I do. That's all about celebrating America hitting its 250th
Yes.
anniversary. I think that's amazing. And so we've been doing patriotic and red, white, and
Yeah,
blue
that's
and that
fun to
kind of
source
stuff
for too.
every month on the 4th.
Yeah.
And so that one's coming up and that one's really fun to do. Um, and then this weekend on Saturday, we have my monthly Zero to Hero train, which
Oh,
is the upcycled train that I was talking about, where everybody brings one upcycled item and the winner who gets the most for their item gets bragging rights, and they get to
Right.
have an automatic spot in next month's train. But that's just
That's
bringing
awesome.
like upcycling to its best. So that one's going to be really fun. And then I think the only other one I'm like over the top excited about is in April, I'm going to be doing a bingo show.
Oh.
I've been talking about doing it, and I finally figured out how it's going to benefit everyone involved and how to do it right. So it follows like the whatnot compliance and that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's
So
good.
yeah, so I'm really excited. I got that one up and scheduled. So that one's really
Yay.
exciting for me. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I do have in the works though. I don't know if y'all you guys have got to message me, okay? If this applies to you, you got to message me because I don't know how I'm going to find people to ride this train with me. But I want to do a karaoke train. I've got the thumbnail
Okay.
made, and I'm thinking it's going to be a blast. Like you go to karaoke and you're there to either sing your heart out or you're there to drink a lot and laugh at people. So it could
Uh,
be a mix of a lot of really fun things, but I think it'll
right.
be awesome. So I think
Wow. I'm
I'm gonna
intrigued.
conduct
I'm
I'm gonna
intrigued.
conduct a karaoke train, but I'm thinking it's gonna have to be like a weekend train, because
Yeah.
like if they're anything like my husband, I cannot get him to sing karaoke unless he's drunk. Just saying,
Yeah.
y'all. Unless
You
he's
don't
drunk,
want me to
I
sing.
cannot get him to do it. Oh, there he is, right there. He just came in to come on. He has to be drunk to be able to get him up there to sing. Me, on the other hand,
No
I grew
kidding.
up singing with my family, and I don't care. I'll sing for anyone. I love karaoke, and I personally am allergic to alcohol, so you know that's not my thing. But so anyways, I just think it would be a blast. But some people may have
That
to
is
have a
fun.
little bit of a drink to get them to sing. So
Little bit of
that
liquid encouragement.
right? I might actually have to tell the sellers that are involved though. You might want to have someone else like actually like running the system for you if you're going to have too
Like
much to drink.
yeah.
You know, or have someone like take away your swiping button if you're going to
Yeah.
have too much to drink. So, I mean,
Kind of
either
like
way,
having a
but
DD.
right? I think that's going to be so much fun. So that one I'm trying to figure
Oh,
that one out still, but that one's coming. So,
that
okay,
sounds
I think right now let's open it up to questions. If anyone has any questions they would like answered, and oh my gosh, yeah, DB. So I think this is great. You know what? So if you have just a small house, you don't have a whole lot of space to do it. Like I said, when I started with a shelf, a little shelf right behind me. My
yeah.
shelf literally was about the size of this shelf. And I had items to the sides of me, and then as an item would sell, I'd put a new one up in there. I had everything preloaded so that people could see. If they couldn't see it right in front of
Yeah.
them, they could see it. I have been in shows, even raid trains, where they'll have everything preloaded, and all they're showing is one item in front of the camera at a time. That's all they're
Hmm.
showing. That doesn't take a big display space.
Yeah.
So
Use the space you have.
mhm.
Even if you have to do it at your kitchen table. I've seen people do. I've
Right.
seen a seller on here who does it. Like her house is separate. She sells from her camper.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So her
Well, and
camper is like her whatnot. You know.
right. Little whatnot space, right?
Yeah.
I would be selling out of my storage unit out there if it wasn't this big. It's like a shipping container, so it's
Oh,
this big, huge metal, and internet is not going
I was
in it,
gonna
y'all.
say,
So
yeah, it might not have great service.
no, you can't even like my kids can't even call me and talk to me about the items I'm looking for from in there. Like it's a thing. So we've actually talked about running a separate internet out to there. So
Yeah.
because it would be great to be like, what do y'all want to see?
Right.
Just
Right.
scan. But
And that's another thing too. If you don't have it all set up, the old
mhm.
rusty where somebody can see it. Take your phone
Mhm.
off and do a scan.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
if you see something you want, shout it out. You know,
Right. Exactly.
hello.
Exactly. Um, I think a scan is a great idea. There are some people who do the random pulls. They scan,
Yeah.
people tell them what they want, they pull it down, they run five, six items, then they
Yep.
scan again.
Yeah.
I do that actually with my mini show. I have three little mini trays that I set up. Everything's numbered. I scan, people tell me what they want. I pull a
Mm-hmm.
couple of items, I run them, I scan again. And so, when you have a lot
Yeah.
of items like that, that's kind of the best way to go. But if you have it preloaded, basically they can just go through and see. And if they're
Yeah.
not actually requesting anything, you can just grab and show one at a time, even. Um, so yeah, that's a great way to do it. Is there any other questions, y'all?
See, and with
Um,
random pulls, whenever I have anything, if I load my shows, which 9 times out of 10 I do, like the
mhm,
1010, you can't preload and stuff like
mhm,
that. But um, I always have one category in my shop that just says random pulls, and I quantity it up to about 50.
mhm,
And then you
mhm.
can actually clone that to your next show. So you
Right,
don't have to
right,
keep um I've only done 5 shows. I'm just a baby. You know what? The chaos car. I message either one of us.
right, right,
We'd be more than. I mean, I
right.
know I would. And Jennifer's
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely.
It with
And
any
I do have
question.
YouTube
Yeah.
videos that I'm doing, you guys, so you can go back to my YouTube channel, Four Hearts ABC,
Yes.
and just go back and look at some of the ones I've done so far. Um, and there are a lot of other sellers out there that do a lot of these support shows. Check them
Mm-hmm.
out. It's a great resource.
Write
But
them down. Chaos cart. Write them down.
right, right. Just keep asking. But what I do, I've had two different methods for the random pulls. One is just like what I did last night. It's a random pull. Everything's going to be $3. That's it,
Right.
$3. And then I weighed it, I adjusted the weight, and I ran it. With that though, when you do the random pulls, um, you have to write a sticky note, you have to write a piece of tape, something with their name on it, because you have to remember who's who, right? If you have a quantity though, so let's say um, it runs and someone gets it, that's number one.
Yeah.
Someone else gets it, that's number two,
Right.
because it will list it down that way. You can do that easily and have, like, I had someone say the other day that they put, okay, that's going on the number one shelf. So they
Yeah.
must have it like pre-shelved on what
Probably.
number it is for the category. I also, I don't have, well, yes, I have a fake photo, but
I just put my logo.
normally it'll say like random pool, or it'll say something like, I have one that's different for my Christmas random pools.
Right.
So for Christmas, I actually broke it down by weight. And so all I
Mm-hmm.
had to do is pull up the weight one. I also do that with my book shows, you guys. My my mini show and my book show is the only two that I am always doing random pulls,
Yeah.
because there's so many and I'm not going to upload every single one. And so with my book show, um my minis, everything is considered to be in the same category for weight, because it's all about the same, and it's all, my starting bid's
Yeah.
always the same. So that one's easy. It's just a one
Right.
item. It just says minis, and boom, I'm just running that same item over and over again. My book show, it's just a random book picture, and it's broken down by weight. Like, this book
Yeah.
weighs a pound. This book weighs the 1 to 2 pounds. And so I know when I'm going to run that book, that's what it's going to be in. And
That's what you're gonna
let me,
click on.
yeah, let me see if I can grab an
Well, and
example. Let me see. Yeah, okay. So
well, like
here's
for
one of
my
my
random
books.
pulls,
Mhm.
I just have my logo. I just use my
Okay, yeah,
logo.
yeah. Um, so for a random pull, like, here's my book, right? On the inside of my books, I just have a little note and the little note just tells me how much it weighs because I pre-weighed it. And then it tells me the date of the book, and that's just a fast reference for me, so I'm not constantly looking for the copyright date again. And then I use this little piece of
Yeah.
paper to write whoever won. And I put it back in the book, and the book goes in the stack of things that it sold. And that's how I do my randoms, but you do have to put something in there. Whatnot kind of requires you to have, unless you're going to do a temporary listing, then you don't have to have a picture. But if it's a quality listing, it requires you to put a picture in. So I would just put like a
And
random,
isn't there
you know.
isn't there a difference between a temporary listing and a quality listing as far as like how it's counted on Whatnot or something? Or
I don't know. I'm not actually, I think if you
like
do a
does a temporary
temporary,
listing?
if you do a temporary, I think it's like a one shot, you're done. That's it. Versus like
Okay. I thought maybe I thought I had
I
heard
do
somebody say something
know.
about it not being counting towards your no, not counting towards your sales.
I know that if you have
I
a
don't remember.
quality listing, okay? Now this doesn't really apply to like random pulls, but a
Right.
quality listing, let's say I'm going to put this book up as a quality listing, okay? And I have a picture on it and it tells the title and it tells the year and it, whatever. If
Mm-hmm.
someone goes on to Google and they are looking for this book, my listing on Whatnot is going to pull up because it's a quality listing and because I have all the information written down. Now, the good
Okay.
thing is that also applies for Whatnot. Like, if you are going to go through the trouble of uploading your items, um, you want to put information in there. You want to put who the maker is. You want to put like
Yes.
Johnson Brothers. It's this plate is from Johnson Brothers, but if you can find
Yes.
out from Johnson Brothers what the pattern is, that kind of stuff. Like I might type in, oh, I'm looking for this pattern, and not necessarily type in Johnson Brothers into the search. Um, it's actually going to show all the items that
Yes.
Whatnot has in there for Johnson Brothers in this pattern or anything that
Yes.
sounds close to that. So that's a
Right.
good way to sell your items, you guys, is to make sure that you're putting that information in there. Um, let me see what this question is, honey.
So I do have a question. Well, maybe an opinion. I watched the seller show last night and they suggested to create a thank you note in my store for $1. And they are literally buying a thank you note from me, but helping with my number of sales. Is that a good idea or tacky?
Okay, so
So is that a thank you note that you would send to the buyer?
I think so. I think so. Because
Okay.
you have,
I've
if
never
they
done
buy
that.
an item, you have to ship something, right? You have to ship
Yes.
something. And I've actually done something like that where, um, so
Yes.
I had a local person not realize they could put local on the thing. And I didn't want to take the time to try to wrap it up and ship it out and wait and see if it got broken and all the things. So I just delivered it to her door and then I took her shipping label and I put a thank you so much. I appreciate you. Put some ephemera in there and ship that to her instead. Um, because in the long run, it saved me time, money, all the things, right? Um, but I don't think it's tacky. I do know that a lot of people do like a give my dog a treat as
Buy
a
me a
way to
coffee.
buy me a coffee.
I've seen that.
Um, I actually did stickers because even though I personally don't really care for stickers myself, my kids love them. The coffee shop here locally, they give out stickers every month, and I grab 4 of them every time I go, and they have them because my kids like putting them on their water bottles and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, kind of
Yeah.
jazz. You know what I mean? Um, but I put in stickers. I have like even right now you go in there. I have plain vintage playing cards in
Yeah.
my bin. And it's not tacky because the thing is it's a really popular item right now. It's
Yes.
usable. It is cheap and it doesn't cost me much. It doesn't cost them much, but it's a sale. It's something people are looking for. Um, and you want those extra bits, but I don't know if I would
Yeah.
necessarily do a thank you note because you want the
I've
buyer to
seen
be
people
getting
do like vintage
something.
recipe cards.
Right. And I have
Yeah.
those
You like,
normally in my bin as well.
yeah.
So I would say get
So if
something
you know,
that is low cost. Like you can go sometimes, I would say more to like a vintage or a thrift
yeah,
store. You can get
postcard.
vintage postcards sometimes for 25 cents if you're lucky, if you find the right spot.
Yeah.
You can charge $1. You can charge again, $1's a little hard because then you're paying for the fees and all that. Um, but I would say if you're just looking to get your sales, do it for $1
Yeah.
because you can put that in an envelope and
Yep.
ship it out. It's not going to cost you much for shipping costs. You don't need any bubble wrap or any box or anything like that.
Right.
So it's not going to cost a whole lot.
Sports cards.
Right.
I've
So
seen people do sports cards.
that's an awesome way to do it. You could go and buy some like ephemera, black and white photos, because you're looking for something that is low cost to you, low cost to the buyer, and shipping is not going to break the bank. I also do things
Yep.
like embroidery flowers that I can find, and they can buy
Yep.
embroidery flowers. I have like right now, I have twinkle lights in my bin. I like them for my crafts, and I bought them in bulk. That was the only way they would come was in bulk. And instead of having the buyer have to go buy bulk if they want one or two, I put them in my bin. Somebody can buy
Yeah.
one, So just things like that. I hope that's helpful to you. Oh, tags are
I
good
did
too.
I did bookmarks. I
Yeah,
created a bookmark on
yeah,
a website and ordered a
hmm
thousand of them really cheap and sold and
right.
then once I hit my 1,000 sales, now I put a bookmark in everybody's package
Oh,
with my logo
nice.
on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I've also had in my
hmm
bin vintage matchbooks.
Yeah, right, right. Someone was just saying tags too. Tags are a huge thing
Yes.
because it doesn't cost you much to do it. It's useful,
Yep.
because like I was talking about, I think on one of my last shows, seller supports, and I was talking about giveaways and if they're a good thing, if they're a bad thing, whatever, right?
Right.
There's a lot of different opinions out there about that. And one of the things is when people give a giveaway and they're just giving away stickers, for me personally, I just recycle those stickers. Or
Yeah.
I give them to my kids if they're awesome because I
Right.
don't do stickers. I'm not into stickers. Um, which isn't to say that when I was a young kid, I didn't have like a book full of like stickers
Yeah.
and I had a sticker collection. But so when I do my giveaways, I do either vintage or vintage inspired ephemera. It
Yeah.
might be a postcard, it might be note paper, but it's something that can be used.
I do
And
keychains.
yeah, exactly. So things that are useful, I think are good things to be giving away or to be trying to get people to buy for
Yep.
a decent amount of money. So I hope that's a helpful
Yeah.
answer for your question. I know it was kind of all over the place here, there, and everywhere, but there's a lot of opinions out there and a lot of options to that. Did we have any more questions, my friends?
Oh, good. It
Let's
was.
see.
I'm gonna move on into my other room so I
No
can.
worries.
I've got 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Until your train?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll
Okay.
take you with me with my ring light. I've done shows from
Right.
hotel rooms. I've done shows from my car.
I just did a book show for a train in a hotel room. It was my first hotel
Yeah.
room show because my daughter made it to state for her cheer competition
Oh, that's awesome.
team, and I was like, I ain't missing state. So
Right?
luckily books were easy to bring with me to the hotel room. So
Yes. I
um,
just did 2 shows from a hotel room last weekend because my son plays travel basketball
oh yeah,
and
yeah. Well,
so
and luckily, cheer season is over for us. Um,
Oh, that's good.
but
Basketball season's almost over for
softball
us.
season is just starting.
Oh boy, you're gonna be
So
all in again.
I am, and the funny thing is normally I do evening shows so that my husband Jeff can be here to help me mod.
Yes.
But I've actually started like moving all my shows to earlier in the day so that if she has a game, I can try to do
Yeah.
them.
Oh, you need to
Because
be
with my mom's situation, I missed a huge chunk of her cheer. I missed
there.
almost all of football season. So,
Oh,
well, we
that's
appreciate
hard.
you guys being here.
Yes, you guys
Like
have
I
been
said,
awesome staying here the whole time.
yeah, check out my YouTube page if you want to
Ooh.
watch my past shows. I did back at the end of January, I did a show and we focused on raid trains with Bobby Dazzle.
Oh, I
And
know that.
the next one I'm having, which is going to be 2 weeks from now, you guys, uh, Resurrection Revival Lisa is going to be doing that one with me.
Oh,
So,
she's great.
yeah, she does a lot of trains. She's in the vintage category, vintage decor category as well. And so, there's going to be a lot of really good stuff coming up. But Holly, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your
Thank you so
insights
much
and
for
all of
asking me.
that. Good luck on your train. You'll
I
probably
appreciate
see
you.
me there. I probably will be writing your
There's
show
the
and stuff.
logo.
There's her setup, y'all. But thank you guys for being here with us. If you guys, Holly, you can sign off and maybe we'll raid from here into your show. Are you on in a minute?
Okay.
Are you on in 1 minute?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you guys stick
Gotta
around
get.
because we're gonna
So
go
how
see
do I
Holly here
sign
in a minute.
off?
I think you just sign off
Leave.
yep, I think that's it. So
Okay. Thank you
good
so
luck on
much,
your show, my
Jen.
friend. I
I
will see ya.
appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, honey. So thank you guys so much for being here today. If you guys have like questions you need help with, message me, message Holly. If we can't answer it, we can at least hopefully like steer you in the right direction. And so also bookmark my upcoming shows, my friends. I got a lot coming up, and especially if you're here for the information, definitely bookmark that in 2 weeks because Resurrection Revival Lisa is going to be my next one. And then on the 24th, we're going to be going and doing this with Iowa Vintage Style, you guys. They're a lot of fun. It's a husband and wife team. So they're going to be doing it with us. In two shows from now. And then after them, 2 weeks later, Mitchell May June is going to be co hosting with me. So I'm trying to bring co hosts that have a lot of good information. And if you are a seller on here and you're interested in co hosting with me on one of these support shows, message me. But yeah, message us if you have questions. Let's try to go raid into Holly. Let's go see her in her show as she's doing the raid train. Um, and so we're going to go on in here and look her up. And y'all, anybody else going blind? I feel like I'm going blind. Okay, here she is, you guys. So let's go see her. And here we go, you guys. Enjoy the train she's in. Remember, stay in there for 5 minutes so you don't hurt her in the algorithm, my friends. Check out her shows, bookmark all the things. See you guys soon. Thanks, guys.